For those of you who are looking for a much more journalistic approach for your books, whether that's interviews, statistics, really trying to get into what happened or what is happening, this is going to be the podcast for you. Fritznel D Octave is amazing. I love how he approached his book. Now, he's been a journalist for a very long time, and then he decided he was going to take those skills and write a book about Haiti and what contributes to its infrastructure today. He has a very cool process. I love that he, had this story and said, I'm going to go find somebody to help me build this story and put it out there. So, y'all, I hope you find this inspiring. I find it so inspiring and also so different because when I talk to fiction writers, it can be very quote, quote, creative. And then you might talk to a memoirist where you're going back in reflection. And this is like matter of fact. Let's dive into this. Let's tackle this issue, this problem, this stance. So y'all, I think you're going to find this just as enjoyable as I did. Let's dive in.
Welcome to the How to Write a Book podcast, the show that helps you plan, write, and publish your book, even if you're a beginner or just feel like one. Now, for your host, she's written over a dozen books and helps others bring their books to life. Here she is, Maciel.
Hey there, writers. Let's take a beat to talk about a special announcement. So November is your month of transformation. Get a 1-hour coaching session with me by choosing one of these 3 options, or all 3. Option 1, join our Patreon for $1, which will support the show. Option 2, book a $1 coaching session on coach.me. Option 3, leave an Apple Podcasts review. Send a screenshot to my email and get a coaching spot. You can do all 3 and get 3 hours of coaching with me. Find all the links in the show notes. Act fast. This offer is only valid for November to celebrate National Novel Writing Month. Thanks. All right, and welcome back to the How to Write a Book podcast. Thank you for being here, Fritznel Octave. Did I say that correctly? Please correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, great. Thank you, Fritznel. You are the author of Haiti, Between Pestilence and Hope. And I, checked out your work. I think it's an important book. And not just that, but you have a lot of high ratings too. So we're like, oh, amazing. Like you are a perfect person to not just speak on this topic, but also to speak on how do you write a good book? And a little bit about you. You're a veteran journalist from Haiti, and now you live in the U.S., but you still cover important topics that happen in Haiti as well. So thank you so much, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Marcel.
Definitely. Now, I know I did a little bit of an introduction for you, but we would love to hear in your own words. Please introduce yourself.
Oh, as you mentioned, I'm a veteran journalist I was born and raised in Haiti. I came from a very humble background. My parents, they basically from the remote village in Haiti, in northwestern part of Haiti. That's where I was born and raised. And by age 14, 15, I moved to Port-au-Prince for school. Port-au-Prince is the capital city of Haiti. That's the way I finished middle school, high school, and then eventually get into university, to college. And I became a journalist, and that's where basically my career kind of kick off into this kind of world. And very inspired by, the people's stories, the real story. We take it to the environment, social issues, women issues, children, the real problem that ordinary people face on day to day. That's basically what was really the motivation for me to get into journalism, because at the time, in the mid-90s, most journalists and most reporters in Haiti, they were more focused into political subjects and reporting on the, I would say, reporting from top to bottom. So it's just like what the elites, what the political elites, the economic elites doing, and then neglecting the real story, which is the daily struggle people facing in the country.
Yeah, and that's so important because that's where, people need to be seen, not just what is the most newsworthy, but what are people going through, because people now need help now. Now, were you always observant to the struggles going on in Haiti, or was there perhaps an event or two that really opened your eyes?
I've always been troubling by the lack of equity in everything, in every aspect in Haiti. So maybe because I lived it, in terms of, lack of government presence in the village where I was born. There's no school, no infrastructure, basic infrastructure, no running waters, people just get abandoned, like nobody think about them. So, and then nobody even care about their story. Mm-hmm. The real struggle they're facing every day. So I feel like, okay, these people need a voice. They need someone maybe from within that understand the struggle, and then to tell the story. And then that's how I feel like, okay, my role to get into that void and to bring people's story to the ears of whoever need to hear it, and then to see maybe we can see some changes.
Yeah. That's, I think, one of the great ways to go is that you see something and then you say like, hey, we need to look at this instead of just ignoring it. So you were a journalist and you were in the industry for a long time. And then you decide you're going to write a book. What was that moment that spurred that, from going actually from like columns and the weekly newspapers, and you said, I'm going to make this into a book that people can purchase and read? What was that moment for you?
It's always, I always nourished that idea to put the Haitian stories, for all of it, on some form where there's no censorship, because from early on in my career, I started with a small community radio broadcasting, and then I excelled well. So then so many other media outlet, bigger news organization saw the potential in me, and they calling me to work for them, and I always like, okay, but I'm not going to duplicate what he's doing and what the journalism look like here in the country. So I want to have some kind of freedom to do what I feel like is necessary, the void that I have, like the story, the untold stories that around the country where the real people struggle. So I want to be able to have the necessary means to travel around the country and then do real reporting, instead of seeing in Port-au-Prince like the lazy reporters, doing the bidding of government authorities and the bidding of economic elites and all, so on, political. So I want to be a different kind of reporter. Mm-hmm. So even though there was some, would say yes, and I come across a job with a national, the only national news agency, like bigger one. That, okay, I worked for them for a while. They say, okay, they agree with me, and then when it comes time to come up with the means for me to travel to that. They always an issue. Oh no, we don't have that in our budget right now. And then you always feel like okay, there is not enough will to empower a reporter to go out there and take that story, because to them the story won't sell. That's basically it. And so I always feel like, okay, I need to have some kind of independence to write a book, and then so I can just throw it out there.
Yeah.
With no censorship, no handicap. So yeah, it take a while before that come to fruition, but eventually with the opportunity I have here after I moved to the US, so I was able to pull that off.
Wow. Yeah. So your book really came out of a need, because if you had stayed like in Haiti and trying to go through those sources, you wouldn't have had the chance to really show these kind of stories.
No, but then first of all, there would be the persecution. It's kind of, you want out. It would probably be very difficult to find a print organization like a printer to just agree to print it based on some of the stories in there. Well, the liberty I took to say certain thing, certain way, to tell it what it is. And, that cover, every angle, every aspect of the society, the culture, what's wrong with it, with the culture, what goods in it, what doesn't serve the country well in our culture as a people. And then everyone will feel like somehow they are attacked. So in that perspective, it could be very difficult for me to even have that book printed out and published in Haiti, inside of Haiti. But then from being outside of it, being in the US, where it's a certain level of protection, even though it's not perfect, but there's certain level of protection here that give me that ability to be able to have that book come out, and it will. Because I have so many, feature articles that get censored in Haiti before.
Wow.
Even though that would probably make a real impact on people's life positively, but then no one wants to publish them. Even the people I work for, they pay me to do the work, and then after you produce it, they put it in, throw it somewhere, and it's never published.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And that's really hard to deal with.
Yeah.
So, tell us here, what are some of the stories and what are the struggles and the hope in Haiti? I would love to give readers insight into your book and why they need to write a book, before we get even to the writing part.
Yeah, but basically, the book, many people who come across the book and read it and give me some of their feedback individually, you think of the book as a history book. But to me, maybe it's a history book, but to me it's not an history book. Because what I did I did it in the skin of a reporter. Of course, I use the Haiti history. I use Haiti's socio-political history, economic history, cultural history. So all that's a history from the beginning, from the beginning of the country, how the country come about, all the way up to today we live in. Just to tell a story about a country that's supposed to be different than what we have today. And then how that happened, that the country is the way it is. Most of the time, for most of the literature I read about Haiti history or Haiti struggles and all that, so it's the two extreme. Either everything everything. So all the blame is cast on, corruptions in Haiti, bad leadership, there's incompetence, and national perspective of the problem. Or, and then these people, they see it that way. They don't want to touch the international influence part of it. So it's basically, okay, it's your fault. It's this the problem. And then there is the other extreme is, well, we're not responsible, like in terms of, like internal perspective, in terms of nationally, locally, we're not responsible. It's their fault. It's the foreign influence. It's the foreign empires. It's the United States. It's Canada. It's France. It's Great Britain. It's everyone else outside of Haiti instead of, other than Haitians themselves. So, in that perspective, I had to bring the story in a way, frame it in a way that people understand that it's not one or the other, it's all of it. To certain extent. And then certain thing that nobody ever talk about. So I was able to, because I uncovered so many stories over the years that relate to certain aspects of the Haiti struggle that nobody want to talk about, or some people are afraid of talking about, or they just don't want to talk about it because it's probably hurt them in certain aspects anyway. So it's not their business to go and to put their nose into this. So I was able to bring the story to life and just put it in there, not only for Haitians themselves. They understand that, okay, if we want to be serious with ourselves as a people, to be able to solve a problem as a people, we need to understand that aspect. But also for other foreigners who are interested in seeing a different Haiti than what we have today, or what most people are accustomed to. They can have a different perspective of how that a different Haiti can come about.
Yeah. I love your structure. You're not just saying, just like you said, it's not just one side, it's not just the other side, it's everything, this whole, it's a holistic piece to Haiti. That's amazing. Now, I would love to chat on your writing process. My first question is, did you go in with that structure already in mind? Like that's what you were going to do, or did it kind of develop over time?
It's both. Okay. So I have in mind where I wanted to start, and then how I wanted to finish. In between, so as I'm writing, so in between I figure out certain piece that probably goes here instead of here, or maybe I don't need this, or maybe I need to bring this into the story. So as I go along, but the conceptually, the general structure was already in my mind from get-go.
That's awesome. Yeah. Great. So you get down the structure, you get down some content. Now, what's your editing process like, and your publishing process? What was that like too?
A headache.
Headache. That's a good word.
Yeah, it's a headache because it's first of all it's time consuming, right? So I mean, if anyone who's serious with yourself, you want a good book to be there, not just some papers put together and some writing on it, but something that people will value if they buy it for $1. So they see the value in return for that $1 they spent in that book, and how that writing, contributes to any part of the discussion they want to have, and what they can learn from what you put on the paper. It requires time to be able to do that. So, and then in today's world, I mean, we have so many things to take care of. You know, I'm a father of two. My daughter just started college this year. My son is 15, is in 10th grade. Usually, I mean, you know, for being in the business, you know that this book business is not, you just writing a book, you don't make money. It's not like, you have to have really a will to put a story together and, you know, just put it out there, but not thinking about any kind of form of financial reward for it. Mm-hmm. That's one thing. And then another thing is, you were talking about that financial part of it is like, okay, once you have that idea, you start writing, you start inquiry, on the process to figure out how you're going to publish and who's going to be able to help you and so on. You get bombarded with, you know, people from all over the place, and all over you, and try to get a piece of you for that, and it's not cheap,
right?
So to do, because you're not a well-known author, whereas a traditional publication organization will just grab and, okay, I give you that contract and just write your story the way you tell me, and then we're going to take care of that. So it's not. You have you need a piece of paper, you need to buy it. Anything you need a pencil, you need to buy it. You know, or laptop, computer, or iPad, whatever you need to do that, to achieve that project. So it's on you. So that part of it also was big in the process.
Yeah. And you said something really interesting, which is like, if you don't even expect like a return on your investment, you have to like kind of believe, like you have to believe in the project. So can you like share processes, or more like thoughts where like you doubted it? You were like, I'm not sure if I should do this, you know? And how did you overcome that?
Well, I mean, first of all, I mean, especially when you're in a family, if you were by yourself, you have no kids, no wife, no husband, no one else. It's just you make your decision and you decide, I have $10,000, I'm just going to throw it there and to publish that book. Mm-hmm. But it wouldn't be an issue because you're only accountable to yourself.
Right.
But once you have a family, so if you're serious with yourself, you have to have conversations in between, and everyone need to have their say, and then so on. And first of all, I dedicated so many time. I took so many time away from my kids during the time I was doing this, and to travel here to get to some archive, to get some information, to send things, and people I need to talk to, I need to see them in person. They don't necessarily want to talk to me over the phone about this, or you send an email to respond to, these two couple questions that probably they may feel too political. They don't know who's going to see them and that email or so on. They want, okay, if I need to talk about this, I need to see you in person. So, and there's a cost to it. So basically the cost. And the time there's a cost component of the time you spend. So all that. So it's really, about like getting the buy-in from everybody in your environment. Mm-hmm. So to be able to accomplish it. So it was, yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of, so then you had a lot of things to consider. What was the hardest part about all this entire process then?
I love writing, so that's not that was not the problem.
Easy.
Yeah, but in it's really helped to come up, the financial part of it. That's, what it require, the cost component.
Mhm.
Okay. So how to find a good publisher, I mean, small company that wanted to work along with you and then understand the situations and negotiate with you within your budget, so and then things can go. Because I use a company called Gatekeeper out of Ohio. So among all of these different people from different horizons were calling me and so on. So finally, I agree on the proposal with the Gatekeeper in Ohio, and so they did a pretty good job helping me with the process.
Mhm.
But again, it's not. It's still self-published.
Mhm.
So I mean, everything they help you with, you have to pay for it because this is their business. They're not charity organization.
Right.
So that's basically that was the hardest part, the financial part of it, the cost component.
Yeah, that's really important. You're right. I mean, it plays a big part, especially if it's your first book.
Mhm.
You're creating it not for financial gain, but more like to
Yeah.
share a message. Yeah.
Yeah, especially here. I mean, nobody know me. I mean, it's in Haiti. I have, people know me in the environment, so there is my name means some things in Haiti.
Yeah.
But if it was not for probably political reason, someone was trying to boycott, but anything else, then it wouldn't be a problem. But here, so nobody knows. I have to kind of create that pathway for myself,
Right.
put myself out there. Which was part of the difficulties.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes it so much harder because you already had a platform.
Yeah,
It just wasn't available like here. Mhm.
yeah, exactly.
And now that you've gone through that process, what do you feel has been the best result? You've come through it. What has been the best thing about this process?
Well, it's a learning lesson. So if not if, but I mean maybe, I'm talking about in terms of if I'm alive. So my next book the process will be a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
That's I learned along the way. So now, someone that's not part of the big house of publishing. So what the options are there for me to make my life easier during the process? That's a very rewarding for me, because that's worth millions of dollars. Now I understand the industry a little bit better.
Nice. Well, if you have any more questions, also just let me know. I'm super happy to help you out. I'll help you. Yeah, just let me know. Email me, call me.
Hey, great. I'm good. That's it. You see, this is already rewarding for me. That's that's what I get from it, from the process.
Yeah. So many things can happen.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. Let's see. I had another question. Okay, so you have, written down, and the writing was easy for you, and that's awesome. And you edit and you go through the publication process. Mm-hmm. So what's next for your journey and for this book?
So my first goal was to make sure that this book is available everywhere. Mm. I was able to make that happen. So now my next step is to try to scale from it.
Okay.
The scale up. Now that's the idea now. So I'm trying to figure out, the best way to, now the book is available, so everyone can grab a copy of it wherever you are in the world. It doesn't matter if you're interested in that kind of subject matter. You're interested in knowing a little bit about Haiti, the real issues, not what we are accustomed to in the mainstream international media, the kind of cliche they set up about Haiti. So anytime those mainstream international media reporters talking about Haiti, they have that headlines always come up like, the poorest country in the world, and in the hemisphere, this violence and, and instability and all this. So, which is, to a certain degree is true, but it's not the whole truth. It's not even half the story. Okay. So my book, take it to a level where if people take their time to read, they really understand the country in a better way that they have not.
Yeah. Yeah. And no, that's lovely too, because I feel like a lot of the audience, they're either writing memoirs, they're wanting to talk about subject matters that are important to them, and everything that you're bringing up is not just inspirational, but it's practical, like how you're approaching things, what to expect for your investment, where to go next, and it's really spot on. So actually I had also another question. A little bit, let's go back to the beginning. One more question.
I'm here for you. No problem.
Awesome. Thank you. I'll keep you here all night.
Yeah, no problem.
So I noticed that your book has like 4.9 out of 5 stars. Now that's amazing, because I think that a lot of people, they might like kind of skimp on editing or the blurb. Even your blurb is so catchy. So, what kind of tips can you give to our audience about, how to get high ratings or how to get such a great blurb? What do you recommend?
For the blurb, first of all, you have to have a good story. You can't, if there is no story, no real story, no good story, so it doesn't matter what you put in your blurb, because when people finish reading the blurb and then they dive into trying to get the book, and then when they get the book, it doesn't match with what you said on the blurb, so it doesn't matter. People will come back and then bash you.
Right.
So you have to take your time to write a good book, to put substance, good content in that writing, and then your blog will make sense, because everybody can do advertising.
Mm-hmm.
They put the publicity out there, but then when you get to the sell part, so people pay, they receive, and then when what they receive is got to worth for the publicity.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's going to be negative on you, because they're not going to take it lightly. So, so it's first of all, it's a good story, and then well written and then well put together, and then so you take your time to write your blurb, whatever way you want to advertise for that book. So, but it reality should match.
Yeah.
Yeah, the context. Yeah.
Yeah. And that really answers both questions, because you're like, okay, well, if you have a good story, it's going to make the good blurb. And then when they read the story from your blurb, it's a great story. So they're going to give you those high stars, you know? So that's something to celebrate. People need to focus on writing good.
I look at some of these people, especially on Amazon, who put some of the comments they have in there. So, I find it genuine. What they're saying is exactly what the book, my purpose for the book, what I put together. That's what I wanted people to say about it.
That's great.
Yeah. And so the many different places, people comment on Goodreads and Amazons and other places, so many different places online that I see positive feedback on the book. So which is kind of rewarding for me, as I said, make me get some kind of satisfaction there.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, thank you so much, Fritznel. This has been very inspiring. Because actually, in the show, we have had like a diversity of writers, but they've either been fiction writers, which can have its own genres, and then as far as the nonfiction writers that I've had on the show, they're memoirists, or maybe they're writing about business, networking, and they're kind of writing more like on a concept, right? So, how to be an author, for example, right? But you're writing something very specific, factual, with research, with so much work needs to go into it. And I know that that's going to be inspiring for some people here in this audience too, because sometimes they don't even know where to begin, but you not just began, you finished it, you published it, and now you're seeing those results.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you would like to add before we wrap out here?
So one thing I'm thinking about is that I know. So from that first experience I have with the process of self-publishing, it is really difficult for someone that come in and do it the first time. That's why I understand why, so many people probably would get discouraged from right at the bat. So it's even when you can write, you have a good story, you can write, but the process to get the published, if you want it to be a good, because anybody can do, okay, let me just get this, tap in on Microsoft Word and then print and then find a way, then put it together. But the chance is that it may not be good enough because you don't have, you need some other eyes to look at it. For, in the editing process. So you need to have another eye. You need to have somebody else. Even if you feel like you're really a good writer, you can write, it's be English or Spanish or French or any language you're writing, you really master that language, you can, but then don't think that way. You need to find someone that can help you with the editing process. Even just the basic like proofreading, you need that. So, and then, so when you get to the other part of it, the printing part of it. So you need to understand that you can't just print books. So you're going to have, say with a printer, that where the book is only print on demand. So you can't just print book and then put it in a suitcase and then go around there. So many people do that, and it's really a wrong thing to do. Just just have it there. Just have it printing ready.
Mhm.
So it's there, and then once people, and then you find a way to, make the book available on all these different, retailers. If you're lucky, you can have a local bookstore. But if not, today with the e-commerce internet world, that's easy. So everyone can publish there out there, and on those you can use Amazon. You use the other major retailers like Barnes and Noble online as well. You use an indie bound as well. So all these different retailers online. So you use them. You make sure you have the publication in there, but not the actual book.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a virtual. So once people order it, and then so that printer is ready to print that book and have it delivered to them.
Yeah.
But that's you need to find that structure or organizational structure where it's happened that way, instead of you probably spend a ton of money to print a lot of books and then they may not even be able to sell. So that reduce the cost for it, that reduce the workload, that reduce a lot of pen for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Print on demand. I think that's the way to go.
Yes, exactly.
Just to reiterate, because it cut out a little bit. So you were saying, going back to editing, make sure that somebody else has eyes on your work, because even if you're a great writer and a great proofreader, have someone.
Yeah, don't trust yourself so much, and if you don't believe in any help because you're so good. No, that's a very big mistake for any author. Even you can be a seasoned author, you still need that. No wonder if you're starting your first book, that's your first experience. So you need that. You need that more than anyone else. Yeah,
absolutely. Even the top best-selling authors right now, they still have editors and readers.
Yeah. Some of them they don't even write the book. Once they make that M for themselves, they don't really write the book. See someone else write it. So
they're like, here you go. I got the idea. Take it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Fritznel. Now, just to wrap out, where can everyone find you and find your book?
My book is virtually available everywhere in the world. So online, you go to, first of all, I would appreciate if someone ordered to my website directly. That's better for me. That's you helping me, you supporting me better. So my next book, my next project can come out sooner than expected. So it's my full name, Fritznel, and then there's my middle initial D, and then my last name, Octave.com. FritznelDoctave.com. You go to the website, not only just the book, but then I have ton of materials. I have a blog. I post, regularly. I post articles in there. So not just about Haiti, sometimes about business, because I'm a certified coach, business development, leadership coach, a personal growth coach. I do. I take some role in speaking engagement at times, or a lot of different things in there that can help people in general as incentive. So you don't not just go to my website for the book, but the book you get the book there. You get a lot of things, perks that go along with the book. Also, when someone you want to go to Amazon, wherever you are in the world. So Amazon UK, Amazon.com, Amazon Australia, Amazon France, Amazon everywhere, and then Barnes and Nobles everywhere. In the bound stores everywhere, even Walmart. You can order to Walmart. You order to any booksellers. You find the book there.
Awesome. That's great. And I'm encouraging everyone to go find your book, Haiti Between Pestilence and Hope by Fritznel Octave. That is awesome. Thank you so much, Fritznel. It has been a pleasure to have you here. Definitely like the first of your kind of writer that we've had here. And we hope that we see you again as soon as you finish your next book. Definitely come on back. That would be super great.
Yeah, definitely. The next one will be on business.
Oh, okay. Awesome. I'm looking forward to that one as well. That one sounds good. Awesome.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Thank you for having me as well, Marcel. That was a pleasure. Thank you again. You have a good night.
Thank you. You too. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the How to Write a Book podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed the conversation. If you want to keep up with me and my work, check out the website blackheartedstudios.com. That's www.blackheartedstudios.com. And follow me on Instagram at Massiel Writes. That's at MASSIEL Writes. As a book coach and publisher, I'm passionate about helping aspiring authors bring their stories to life. So if you've been dreaming of writing a book and don't know where to start, head to my website and let's chat. You get a free 30 minutes on me. Thanks again for listening, and don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks.